Hey, Bestie Brains, Kirby here. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, KO Disc Golf proudly brings to you the greatest podcast in the world! The Road Dog Kirby Snyder, the badass Ollie DePina, the KO Disc Golf Show! And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Suck it! Welcome to episode 21 of the KO Disc Golf Show. This is 21, the Spiro episode. Famous players to wear 21, Tim Duncan, Roberto Clemente, Deion Sanders, and Kevin Garnett. An all-star lineup of players, for sure. Honestly, crossing a bunch of different sports, too, which is absolutely incredible. Famous Red Sox players to wear the number 21. Just Roger Clemens. He was the only one, and he hasn't worn the number since 1996. It's pretty incredible. I think it's going to be a really notable time for the Red Sox when they do give a certain player the number 21, whether that's a really big free agent signing or that's a rookie that comes up they expect really big things out of. But that number 21 for the Red Sox organization is going to be really significant for a very long time. Thank you to our sponsors of this episode. It is going to be Swamp Cow. They are located over there in Seattle. So much thank you to them. Swamp Cow, owned by Matt Ray and Kava Organics. They are one of my sponsors, and they're doing a concert series. So check their Instagram. They're posting regularly about their concerts. They look awesome. The venue is great. It's an awesome little space, super relaxed, super comfortable. They have board games and stuff like that. So definitely go check them out. I had a great time when I went and checked it out. So before we get into our weekly check-ins, I'm going to do a giveaway. So I got back from Virginia last night, and when I got back, I had a couple of boxes with some discs in them. So I have one of these Skywalker 2s, the FD1. It's a glow plastic. I threw a copy of this today. I threw a pink one, and they're straight with a little stability. I'll say these might be a little more overstable than an S-Line FD1. So I want to give this away, though. So I want to give it away to somebody in the comment section. Go ahead and comment whatever color of lightsaber that you would use if this was the Star Wars universe. I know personally I would definitely use a green lightsaber. When that then the 9th movie came out and I was watching that and I saw the green lightsaber came out, I was like, that is so fucking badass. To this point, I only thought the good guys ever used blue, and when Luke busted out the green, I was like, this is amazing. Ollie, what lightsaber color do you think that you would use if this was the Star Wars universe?
I would also probably use green, but my favorite is purple for sure. Mace Windu and that purple is by far probably my favorite.
Yeah, that's a really sick one.
I'm blanking on the name. The green, he has the tentacles and he swims and he has the green saber. That's probably
nice.
My favorite.
Yeah. I don't know nearly enough about the Star Wars universe. I'm a pretty casual Star Wars fan. When I to be totally honest about it. But the green lightsaber has always been my favorite one. Whenever I saw him bust that out, I was like, dude, that's crazy. I had no idea that was even possible. I thought it was just blue and red, and that was it forever kind of thing, right?
Yeah, no, that's too sick, the green. And Yoda.
Yoda, for sure. Definitely. Ollie, how's your week, man? How's everything going?
It's been good. Getting back to playing some disc golf, getting back from the trip and everything. It's been awesome. Just prepped a lot played a lot of Lakewood. Got to go out and do North Park Dubs on this past Monday for the first time in a while, which is a good time. And then went out to Terrace Creek the next day, which is, again, enjoyed that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I was at Terrace Creek and I heard that there's going to be some changes coming there.
Really?
Yeah, so they're going to be, they've been working with the person in the park. I forget the exact role, but Jackson's been talking with them a lot. And
so when you say Terrace Creek, do you mean Mount Lake Terrace?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, should be getting some basket upgrades, and then because they're losing hole 5, which is that field hole, basically. It's
as they should.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of pedestrians. If you go long, you're throwing into a play structure, so it's I don't know.
To be honest, hole 11 should also be blown up.
Which one?
Hole 11's like that path
On the
hole.
path. Yeah.
Yeah, like hole 10 is like through the tight woods, and then 11's like going down the path. It's like there's so many people that walk down that path. Like that shouldn't be a disc golf hole.
Yeah, they're talking about adding a hole that's going to be right after hole 10 in the woods, kind of like a short, really tight gap. That's going to be like a shorty.
I
And then
think that honestly the one that I was thinking they should replace because it's probably just to the left of hole 10
it's like, yeah,
or
right when
hole
you
11.
finish out, you keep going. Yeah, it's right to the left of it, basically. And then
Yeah.
they're also talking about a hole right at the end of hole 11, kind of going up, which sounds interesting as well. And then
Oh,
also
that would be
manicuring and trimming down hole 18 and doing different things like that. They said, like,
yeah.
not taking down any trees, but the trim whatever they want. Like, basically, really like, going to be really helpful with working with the club. So,
That's cool.
seems awesome and exciting. I like Terrace Creek a lot, and so yeah,
Yeah.
seems really fun and exciting, cool with that. So
That's awesome. I wonder, I mean, I don't know, man. I wonder what the conversations would be to have like a tournament there and like the kind of stuff that you would have to do cuz like I mean it would be I mean
a
legit
lot,
yeah, I can see like
yeah.
so many issues there because there's so many different ways to get into the park and you have people walking through and you'd have so many backups. Um I don't know. I don't know. Like I love Terrace Creek too. Like I think it's a great course. I go there once in a while because it is only like 15 minutes north of where I live. So I don't know. That would be an interesting thing to kind of like kick around and think about maybe doing an event there at some point. So
Yeah, with like better baskets, it's like I don't know, the possibilities go up a lot. I feel like, and
yeah,
I like those back holes a lot, a little more
yeah.
excluded and stuff. So
I mean that.
I've always liked Terrace Creek, yeah. So I think there's just so much you could do there, and I know the North Park they do like the championship where you do like around at North Park and around it there, where
Okay.
um, so
I wonder. I mean, I don't know. What is it? 2024, maybe 2025. KO Disc Golf Show does its own tournament.
yeah, that'd be sweet. I
Yeah,
like that idea.
like you and I are like kind of co TDs, and we do maybe something. Because like I don't think it would be impossible to do something like a rated round at North Park, right? Like
No.
you'd have to be like smart about the way you like do the organization of it and that kind of thing. But if we can do like a rated round at North Park and a rated round at Mount Lake Terrace, like that'd be kind of a sick tournament that not a lot of people usually do. You
Yeah,
know?
people would. I'm sure people would pop out for that. That'd be
Yeah,
really cool.
interesting.
Yeah,
We'll talk about that in the off season a little bit. And
yeah. Put that on the chalkboard.
sick.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I love it, man.
yeah. I got a disc back from the farm about a week before, like right before I left on my trip. I got my Halo Boss back, and that's kind of been. I didn't think it was gonna get back in the bag just because it's been so long. But
Now, when you say the farm, what do you mean by the farm?
oh,
Just
Derriere. Oh,
area.
Derriere up in
Okay.
Everett. Yeah, I've
Yeah, yeah,
only known it as the farm, and
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because there's also like game farm and stuff like that. So
yeah,
for
totally,
people
totally,
that might think
totally.
like otherwise, that's crazy. Because like, I mean, I know that happens a lot. Like I've lost, you know, at least 5 discs out at the farm for sure, and I haven't got any of them back. Which I when you lose something out there, you kind of don't expect to because you know, like not too many people play it. Everything gets like super super thick and that kind of thing. So that's sick that you got something back.
Got it back, and I was like, I don't really have like I have my PD2 and I have like some destroyers that are kind of beefy, but I don't know how it's gonna fly. And I like threw it, and it just felt like it was, I don't know. I was like, oh, you needed to throw this again, so I was really excited. I have a pre-flight number one. I'm gonna do some messing around with, and I want to test some more out. But definitely a driver I really really enjoy throwing. So was kind of really glad to have that back, and then, yeah, it opened up a lot more things. I feel like in like my flex forehands, just hucking it down there, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I still want to see you throw in that PD2 because I love
Oh
seeing you.
yeah.
So I actually am bagging a like carbon copy of that
Hell yeah.
right now because my PD2 that I've been throwing has gotten a little straight. So yeah, no, that's awesome. Good for you, man. My week's been pretty chill. Just getting back home, setting up for the Mountain View class or Mountain View Championship has been really nice. Um, responding to a lot of messages there and that kind of thing. We're gonna dive a lot into like the World's recap and the Mountain View Championship preview, like just in a little bit. So,
Yeah.
Ollie, do you want to get into the Ralph Williamson Memorial recap?
For sure. Yeah. 2 days, Ralph Williamson, 18 holes at Lakewood. Practiced it a bunch, so I was there. I think every day from I went Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to go out there and check it out. On Friday we had some rain coming in, so it was like everything was like rain, like it was getting wet, and then the early morning rounds on that Saturday had some rain with it, so where everyone was kind of checking the forecast, umbrellas out, like the rain gear out with that. Um, After the afternoon, around like 1-ish, 2-ish, the rain kind of cleared, so it's just kind of like gray skies, which was nice. MPO teed off around 3, or yeah, like 2-3 ish, which was, or 2:53 ish, which was really nice. So everything was clear with that, and then the second day was just clear skies, so it was perfect day for golf on the second day, and yeah, it was nice. It was interesting to play. I don't feel like I had a ton of preparation, like without, like I was reading the caddy book with it, but it was really hard to know exactly where the lines were because nothing was like painted or it really indicated prior. And then on Friday with the rain, you couldn't really get any paint on the ground because it was just
Yeah.
pouring. So that
Yeah.
was a little tough. And so then I got to the tournament, and like hole 4 and hole 5, like hole 5, was like basically the OB was like probably circle's edge, like on the top side of the hill, which was like really tight. So you're like, there was some tighter OBs where it was a little interesting. So if you threw that turnover shot and ended up going like just a little too far, turning it a little bit too much, you have the like chance of going out of bounds, which was like a lot new to me, and I didn't really know prior going into that. So definitely kind of psyched me out a little bit with that, but all the OBs were pretty manageable. But definitely a lot more OBs than I had practice and like intended for.
Hmm.
And that was whether it was like short holes that I knew were going to be changed, but I wasn't sure exactly how, or like hole 13 is that tiny dink and dunk where you can basically jump putt. And it's like, I wasn't sure how the island was going to be, but I had an idea it was probably going to be on like that lower hillside on the bottom of the tree,
Yeah.
a little longer there, shorter on the right side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was definitely interesting for sure, but it was a great tournament. Like I really enjoyed it. I would love to see more tournaments out here. I heard Christian was talking about wanting to bring back Rat City Rumble, which is one that I definitely love to see, and Lake and Sea as well, which is like another tournament at Lakewood. Again, I'd really like to see back and be doing and stuff. But
Yeah. It's
yeah, it was a good event, and I enjoyed it. Couple mistakes made here and there, but I think there was
well.
some nerves. Yeah, what?
You made chase card round 2, right?
Yeah, made chase card. So yeah, round 1, I feel like I was doing pretty well, and I made some mistakes like middle of the round where I went and bogeyed 6, double bogeyed 7, and then bogeyed 9, which I was like, these are all holes I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I should be walking out of here with strokes, not taking
Arbor.
strokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really frustrating. And then I got up to hole 10 and I was like, just 9 birdies, like literally go do 9 birdies or something. I was like, in my head, I was like, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. So
Yeah.
I shoot my tee shot off, go way long, way like in the bushes, and I'm like on that shorty hole once you go up the hill. And so I was like, well, great start to that. But I actually was in that exact same spot at practice, and I was hit that putt, and I was like, okay, I can do this. Hit the putt there, and kind of got on a little bit of a roll, and didn't get 9, but I ended up getting a pretty good, decent amount of birdies on that last stretch. I think it was like 6 birdies on the last stretch on that back 9, so felt pretty good about that. I just didn't
It's
get
nice.
the 17, and just a couple big mistakes though on that round 1 for me that I feel like I went from neg 2 and I could have been like in that neg 5 range, neg 6 range pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, hole 7 and 16 got me. I also got which is like one I don't think I should be taking strokes on, which is unfortunate. But then went into round 2 on chase card, first chase card ever, which was like such a cool experience. Like I just knew there'd be everyone I'd be playing with was like a lot better, and like that kind of feeling was like really cool. I had Tyler Schrock on my card, had Lucas Lara on my card. It was just, and Adam Alexander on my card as well. It was
That's a
sick.
dope card. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great card, honestly.
And these are like, I see Tyler all the time, and I'm very friendly, and we chat, and I'm rooting for him at a lot of tournaments I see, and so that's cool. But I've never actually got to play with him, so that was really really cool. And I
Yeah.
never got to play in a sanctioned event with Lucas, but I had played with him at Derriere, and so I had that experience where I was like, hey man, like I watched you on Fairway Media, I know who you are.
Yeah.
And he
Lucas.
was like,
Yeah.
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 And so it was pretty cool with these people that I watched getting better, now I'm like, oh, these are the people I'm playing on cards with and stuff, and it's
That's
really really kind of surreal and cool experience.
good. Good for you, man. Yeah, I'm super proud of you. Super pumped for you. I think it's awesome seeing you kind of like get up there and yeah, I mean you can hang. Like I've been saying it, man. Like you can definitely throw it and you can hang. So good. I'm not surprised at all, honestly. So I don't know. Proud of you. Good for you,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Round two, I had my older brother on the bag, which was really cool.
Nice.
I think I was doing super well. Like I came out and like through seven, I was through six holes, I was two down. Like definitely felt like I could have scored more, but it was like, you know what? We're doing better than we were before. Like the strokes are better. And I get up to hole seven and hole seven, traditionally you just kind of go up the middle of the gap there and everything, but I've always throw this the big hyzer right, and then have it spike on the hillside. And I was practicing it, and I was doing it, and I remember during practice, I was like, I met Michael Lambert at practice, and I was I was like, hey, did you know about this line? And I was showing him that line, and I like went a hole ahead of him. And I kind of like peeped my head in the little like blue hut thing, and it was like watching him throw it. And but I threw the big hyzer line, spiked it, got the birdie on seven, which was like maybe like my favorite disc golf moment I've ever had. Where
Yeah.
I've had moments where like people are like, wow, like that's a really cool line, or like you kind of like put like people are like what did this guy just do? But I've never had that I've never really had it in MPO and had that feeling, but that was like one of the I think I've had it before, but not to that extent where I was like I can do this my way and I can do this, and it's pretty
Sick.
fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The wheels on the bus fell off a little bit there. Like I said, I like pulled, kind of hurt something in my shoulder in like this kind of area. We were talking earlier, and so that was kind of like I kind of felt like my body. I was like, I need like I kept going. I only need four more forehands. I only need three more forehands, and like. But like after like once I got to like the two more forehands, one more forehand, it was done. I was like spiking it kind of into the ground, like just missing kind
Yeah.
of. And it was a bit of a bummer. Also, I forgot to say, round one, Corey Parker was on my bag, and that was such a cool experience. I think he was a really fun caddy and really great caddy because he kind of gets. We talk a lot about disc golf. Just we both are like big disc golf fans, and so he kind of knew my game, and to a point where like he would pick out the disc that I'd be throwing next and like knew exactly what I was throwing, but we don't really play too many rounds together where he should know exactly what I'm throwing, but
Yeah.
he has a great idea of my game and a great idea of what I can do with the disc because we talk about what we like to do with them and send videos and stuff. So there were so many cool moments where he was like, here's your Toro, here's the Madrone. He's like, here's your Nordic Phenom, here's this. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this is cool. And
Nice.
so big shout out to him. And I feel like if I had him on the bag, or at least in the corner round two, I made a couple mistakes that were like definitely like I threw it in the ground, kind of cut rolled to the right on a old hole 17, the downhill one.
Yeah.
And I was in the bushes on the right, and I took a sidewinder, and I was like, I'm gonna save par. And I tried to be a big hero, cut rolled out of bounds, and then I'm like, oh gosh, and I walk up to my shot, and I see Justin Banks coming around, and I was like, oh no, I was like,
Yeah.
everything's falling apart, and
Yeah.
it's hard to. I always try to have like a goldfish mentality, and my brother tried to remind me about that, but it's kind of hard at the end of a tournament that I feel like I prepped so hard for, but maybe too hard, where like I kind of got that physical strain where I'm like, maybe
Yeah,
you need
go
to
for
know a balance. Yeah, exactly. So it
I
was a
mean,
good
there's
learning point.
there's a lot of validity in giving yourself like at least like 24 hours of like no throwing. Like maybe throw a couple of putts and just kind of like get a feel for that a little bit and like relax with that. But at the same time, like don't go out and like exert yourself. Like I don't know. I think there's something to that. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
I played too many rounds, too many multiple rounds in a day, like
Mm-hmm.
just leading up to the tournament where I feel like I could have been resting and doing a lot more. Um, but yeah, like I said, I take these as learning. Like I was going into the tournament just like, oh, I prepped so well. I know exactly what I'm going to throw. I have like no questions on any my bag, and you'd be so proud. My bag's like the discs aren't fully there. Like my bag's like kind of lightened up a bit, especially for Lakewood. I was like, I don't need too much,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you'd be proud. I'm just saying it's a lot less for me,
Good.
and but yeah, there's just a couple mistakes that we could have made that I feel like could have made that second day a little better, but
Yeah.
learning and growing, and that's what I came to do in MPO, and play with these players that I'm setting out. Like I'm meeting everything that I'm trying to do, which is really cool feeling, but still have the feeling of like that was like I was still getting the car pissed and I'm still like ending
Yeah.
the round like pretty disappointed, but I'm able to reflect and able to look back and say I'm not too far off where I'm trying to be. I just have really high expectations.
Yeah, I
So
mean, good. That's how you're going to get better is to, set high expectations and continuously try to meet them, if not defeat them, kind of thing. So,
yeah, and
yeah,
I'm just
good for
gonna
you.
go over through the winners real quick.
Yeah.
For MPO, we got Michael Lambert and then
Nice.
Isaac Strom. It kind of came down to the end there. Michael went out of bounds on hole 17, or it's old hole 19, but hole 17 for this tournament, where the path just rides all the way. So
Mm.
I think he had 2 strokes on Isaac or 3 strokes at the time. So then Isaac had an opportunity to go get a stroke there, and even with the bogey par. So really coming down to a fun last hole. Isaac got a really big drive past the trees down. So, there's a little group of people that were sitting there watching Isaac come up, Michael come up there, but it was just a little too late.
Yeah.
But it's going to be awesome. I've watched the coverage already, which is I was kind of perk of being I'm going to be doing the commentary for the event, so I got to watch it and prepare a little bit for it. So I was excited about that. But it was a cool event, and so I'm excited to But shout out to Isaac for keeping it really close with Michael there and having a really cool competition. For FPO, we got Stephanie Hook and Vanessa Stephanie in first and second. And then in MP40, we got John Anderson and Bjorn Penny. And they tied and went to a playoff, and John Anderson won. I didn't catch that one, but looked pretty sweet.
Nice.
And then MP50, we got Ming Vang and Rob Gunn taking first and second.
Ming, no surprise.
Yeah, no surprise, Ming at Lakewood. MP60, we got Steve Bell and Don Clark with the first and second. MA1, we got Spencer Stewart, who I played on a card with him for dubs on Thursday at Lakewood. And he was shredding. And so I was like, who is this guy? I've never met him before, anything like that. He's like, I'm doing the tournament. And I was like, okay, that's cool. So
yeah, like I see it. Yep.
Yeah, makes sense with that. And Nate Wallen in second there. And shout out to Matt Oberstaller in third. Big shout out to him. Really great person, just like someone I always enjoyed seeing. I know we shout him out, but can't shout him out enough. MA40 got Rad Roberts and Dan McMillan. MA50, Eddie Wren Jr. and Tom Rohrer. MA60, we got Marty Smith and Jim Van Syok. Ooh. MA2, we got Luke Gent and Mason Carl. Shout out to Luke Gent round 1. He's got a 7 down, which is a 10-15, unofficially rated, I believe. But we'll see when the ratings come out, which is super sweet. He was a bogey-free.
Yeah.
And I officially done with MA2, he said. So hopefully we'll be doing MA1 and some MPO events coming up. But has really, really great ceiling and really great, he comes out and will just drop 1,000 read around like it's nothing. And super great dude. And also shout out to Corey Parker. Mason Carl got second, but shout out to Corey Parker, who got third. In round 1, he shot +7, came back and went up 18 positions or so, and went all the way from 21st to 3rd. So super big shout out to him.
Good. That's awesome.
Just showing the fight, any tournament's able to win, or even just you can go from 20 plus to this in any of these divisions. So really big shout out to him. MA3, we got Atticus Openberger in first, and then Tyler Hazelhawk in second. And then at MA4, we got Joseph Bergen in second, Benjamin Sowell, and FA4, Veronica Frembling. So shout out to the winners there. Super cool event. Got to see just so many people loves the Seattle events. This is one of the ones, like I said, in the Seattle area that we're doing this year. Would love to see more events at Lakewood. Maybe the layout honestly wasn't. I didn't with the OBs. It was really interesting. I kind of liked it. It was a little more challenging than I thought it was going to be going in. So honestly, don't mind the layout. Would run that layout again. I think it was pretty fun. Maybe change the 13 a little bit. I don't know how, but maybe do something with it, but I don't know how. Okay. Maybe a brick wall that's 5 feet, 8 feet tall.
Where's which one's 13 again?
The shorty behind the
But
But
Yeah.
Or maybe you can do something with those holes where you can bring like something back a little bit, or like I don't know, but
Or is there somewhere else you can create a hole?
that's what I'm thinking. Or I don't know, maybe you get netting so then like shots that go on the right side and there's like the ace run position on that hole behind. You can shoot from there, make it a turnover shot to
Yeah.
make it like a little more challenging of a par three. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed the layout. Shout out to Christian Wolf, shout out to Brian Spain, assisted TD, and yeah, great event.
Nice. Yeah, great for them. Sweet. Yeah, we're gonna get into next up. We're gonna get into the world's recap. Um, yeah, I was at Virginia like all last week and that kind of thing. The courses were honestly awesome. New London especially was amazing. Ivy Hill just had way too much OB. You know, some of the holes had OB like 10 feet or less away from the basket, and it was like you can't really expect anybody at that point, especially with like a little headwind on a 360-foot shot to reasonably get it inbounds if inbounds is going to be that small. So some of the holes weren't my favorite, but for the most part, I thought Ivy Hill had a bunch of like really great holes, and Ivy Hill was not too bad to play, all in all.
Mm-hmm.
New London was, like I said, it was amazing. I had so much fun at New London. I think that was like one of my favorite courses. It felt like it was SeaTac on crack, but like in the best way possible.
Yeah, I feel that. I could see that. I watched a lot of videos from people playing there, and it just looks so amazing. And then seeing it in coverage was super sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about how they might be losing like the
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah
that was big talk, throughout the thing. They're probably gonna lose it. That's the most like disc golf thing possible, honestly. Especially that was like it came out while we were having this great event kind of thing. It was crazy. There was some signs out that I saw that was like hashtag Save New London and that kind of deal. So
I saw
that
that.
was
I saw those.
that was interesting. Um, I was thinking to myself today, it would be really fun if you and I went out and we did a challenge video and we did SeaTac, but we did it like New London style, and we just put OBs on like a foot away from every tree line on the entire course.
That'd
So
be
if you're a
fun.
little bit in the trees, you're out of bounds, there's a stroke, get into the fairway, throw another shot kind of thing. So might
Yeah,
be kind
I don't mind OBs in woods golf. I know some people think like that's like it's like should just be a natural OB, but I actually think OBs in woods golf is really cool and makes it that much more of a challenge. Would make SeaTac that much more of a challenge and that much more fun.
some of the OBs were a little crazy. Like there was a couple of holes where I was like, wow, I don't know that this whole right side needed to be out of bounds, but like
Yeah,
is, kind of thing. So yeah, like I said, I love New London. We're gonna talk about this and I'm just gonna get it out there and whatever. I took an 11 on a hole. It is the highest number I've ever taken on a disc golf hole ever. I took 4 out of bounds strokes. So it was a par 5. I'm gonna talk us through how I took 11, but it was shitty for sure.
it
So
is one of the hardest holes in disc golf, like
I made
ever
it
for a
hard.
reason. It is.
Yeah,
It is
I,
though.
I helped plump the numbers up big time for sure. So off the tee, I'm throwing like a PD, and I'm trying to kind of cut the corner. I'm trying to throw it high. I'm trying to get off enough distance where on my second shot I can throw something and really make it up. And instead, I miss and I throw it to the left, so I'm in the woods. Now I throw my P2, which all weekend has kind of been treating me like shit, which I'm going to get into that in a little bit. So my P2, which is supposed to be like my trustworthy thing, one of the good shots of the weekend. I throw it pretty far, like up the middle of the fairway, and I'm in the center. So I'm past where some of the best drives on my card are, which I'm like, okay, not too bad. Now for 3, I'm throwing a DD3, and I'm putting myself 250 feet away from the basket, 300 feet away from the basket, we'll say, maybe 300. So I'm in the woods on the left, but 300 feet away from the basket, sitting 3. I'm in the woods to the point where I can't throw anything out. I have no forehands. So I take a disc and I just pitch it out into the fairway. It falls in the fairway, stands up on edge, rolls out of bounds. Okay, so now instead of pitching into the fairway and sitting 4, and I'm sitting 5, and I'm 300 feet away on the right side of the fairway. So I take out my P2, which is supposed to be my trusty guy, and I knew this landing area. I had thrown a couple of like approach shots kind of like up there. So I was like, I know I can get my P2 across this OB area in front of me. I throw my P2, I bleed it out a little left, I bleed it a little short, boom, it falls out of bounds. And now I'm sitting 7 out of bounds short left. And I'm like frustrated and I'm like, whatever. So I grab my soft tactic and I'm like, I'm just going to throw this on a little like pitch up forehand. I'm only like 170 feet away, maybe. And I throw my tactic and it comes out nose down and I don't even cross the out of bounds. So now I'm sitting 9 and I throw, oh man, I think I messed up this count somewhere, but I throw my spore. That goes out of bounds on the right side. I pitch up to the basket. I tap in. I walk to the next hole. I say, hey guys, I got 11. 2 guys on my card say, yeah, we got you at 11 as well. I was like, damn. So 4 out of bounds strokes, 7 throws total out of bounds.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't even know. It was awful.
Yeah, yeah. There's not too much to be said. I feel like with it, it's a really hard hole, and those breaks happen, and then it's like, but those breaks happening like over and over again are like, that's really tough.
It kind of proved the teeth of it, honestly. Like I was shooting okay. There's a lot of birdies to be had out there.
Yeah, I feel like that your day besides that hole was like one of your, like the better days you had at Worlds, which was
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I just played like poop. I mean, it is what it is. Wish I would have played better, but it was just just kind of didn't. I loved the van life. That was honestly like really awesome. I had a great time. I camping out and like that kind of thing. Tricking out the van, getting like an air mattress and that kind of thing. I'll sleeping in the van, sleeping like a Cracker Barrel. And like driving into the Cracker Barrel and seeing like Stacey Ronsley and Connor O'Reilly and a bunch of other like disc golf fans kind of in the parking lot, you're like, this is cool, this is kind of a lifestyle kind of thing. So I definitely ate Texas Roadhouse like 3 of the nights I was there because I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna take advantage. I loved that. My dad was out for like a lot of the time, so like he and I stayed in a hotel, so I wasn't camping in the van the entire time I was there. Honestly, thank God, because it was so fucking hot. It was so humid out there. I was like, I'm gonna die if I lived in this thing for 10 days, kind of deal.
Getting cooked in there,
dude. It was So the humidity was definitely like the biggest thing to like overcome. I was drinking like a lot of liquid IV packets, drinking a lot of water. Just trying to like keep myself hydrated as much as I possibly could, because like the amount of walking I was doing, I was playing 2 rounds a day, and between that and just getting out there, like I was literally sweating through like every shirt I owned. It was disgusting. But yeah, so I'm blowing my bag up, and that's kind of the next thing that I wanted to talk about is my bag. I wasn't happy with like the shots I was throwing, and there's a bunch of discs in my bag that I was like, why are you in here? Like, what am I doing with you? I haven't thrown you in tournament in a while. So the spore, it's out of the bag.
Whoa, okay. When you said that on that one hole, you said it going right, I could hear some like, I don't like the spore.
Oh yeah,
anymore,
I'm bitter. I'm bitter at the spore, so that's out. And my P2, which is like supposed to be my ride or die, it's actually like right here on the shelf. Like it's not even in the bag at all. So that thing's gone right now. I grabbed a P3X from the store today and threw it a couple of times with my friend Toby. So I
like the P3X a lot. I've been a fan of it.
Yeah, so
are you still putting with P2s?
Yeah, I'm going to be putting with P2s, just not throwing it. And then the other one is that FD3. I'm going to put that in the bag and kind of like mess around with that for a little bit, which I'm like traditionally not have been a big fan of the FD3, but I'm just going to kind of force myself to throw it a little bit. And I'm also going to force myself to throw the Instinct on forehand more, because I did that a little bit like my last day in Lynchburg. I was just playing this like random like short little course, and I was throwing the Instinct forehand so well that I was like, all right, like this is going to be a new thing I do. So
cool. Love to hear that.
It should be fun. Kind of interesting. The other kind of like notable, keep kicking my mic there, or keep kicking my camera. The other thing I want to kind of talk about was the Lynchburg airport. This was the smallest and the silliest airport I've ever been in my life. I go in there and I like walk up and there's a guy standing at the American Airlines counter. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna check in for like my flight. I was in like 2.5 hours. In my mind, there was at least gonna be like a Starbucks or like a Dunkin' Donuts there, and I was like, I'm gonna get like a coffee. I'm gonna get like a like maybe like a pastry or something because I haven't really eaten too much today.
Yeah.
Um, and I get in there, and the guy's like, "Cool, no problem. Thank you." And I was like, "I'm gonna check my bag. I already, pre-checked online and stuff." He's like, "I see that. That's awesome." He goes, "I'm gonna have you take your bag and just go sit over there until the TSA agent comes over." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I sat down, and I was like, the way he said that was interesting. Like there was only one TSA agent for like this whole airport, and I was like, "That's kind of weird, But like, whatever. I'm not gonna think too much about that." So I sat there for probably like 45 minutes to an hour before, and there's like a bunch of other people. Like Nate Sexton was in the airport. There was like a bunch of like there's like a European player who I recognize was in the airport. Just like a bunch of disc golfers. There's another girl in the airport who had the same bag that I did, which we talked for a minute. I was like, oh yeah, that's a nice bag. So the TSA agent eventually comes over and he's like, okay, I'm gonna start checking bags now. And I was like, well, this is okay. So I put my bag and he runs it through the scanner and like puts it in the back and checks it and goes, all right. And he's like, you can head over there. So I head over to go through security at this point and the gate's closed. Like there's no the gate, and I was like, what? Like this is weird. So everybody's just sitting around in front of the gate, like waiting, and because like I think they only have a certain amount of flights that only come out. So like when the guy who checked me into the American Airlines, when I was like getting on the flight, like he was like the person with like the orange vest, like waving people in. I was like, oh my god, you guys only have like 10 employees for the
He's doing it all.
dude, you guys just do like multiple jobs like every day. Like this is crazy. Like this is absolutely insane. And to top it off, the people that were like checking bags, like going through security, they thought that they were the last line of defense for the United States. Like they took their job so freaking seriously. So going from Seattle to Charlotte, no one checked my disc golf bag. No one cared. Charlotte or going from Lynchburg, they were like, "We need to look at this," and I was like, "Really? Like, it's frisbees, man. Like it's frisbees."
They're sus of the
Bro,
round shape.
dude, they were like, "Hey, like we are the last line of defense for the United States, and like we are gonna make sure of it." It was a lot. It was hilarious to take in. It was cool though. I saw like Simon Lazat like in the airport, quote unquote. There was 4 gates. It was a room that had 4 doors in it, and each door led outside to a different area of the outside. And it was 4 doors in a room.
That sounds, that sounds
Honestly, the room was
terrible.
much bigger than like Emerald City Discs. Like honestly, like that was the whole thing. There was 2 floors, but like the room was like no bigger than an ECD. It was so fucking silly.
That sounds wild. And just to have a big event go through that,
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people. What's the closest big city? Like,
What was that? It started with an R. Roanoke. Roanoke. So I do think that there's an airport in Roanoke, but that's still like an hour and a half drive, like 2 hour drive away, something like that. So
yeah, that's a
it
lot.
was. I was like, man, this is hilarious. It's so small town kind of thing. Um, all right, so we want to lock down some fantasy football draft stuff or fantasy football stuff.
Yep.
Like we said, ideally we'd like to do the draft in ECD. Ideally, we would have a 10 to 12 team league. Ollie, you had a couple of like rule things, like you said, like wide receivers and running backs are like kind of equally valued, kind of thing.
Yeah, so basically there's just we're doing so half point per reception just to give a little more value to those running backs who cuz point per reception there's a lot of I don't know, where it gives a lot more value to wide receivers who catch the ball and running backs who catch the ball, so this gives more advantage to running backs who run the ball and get more yards and stuff like that. So it's not just like this guy caught the ball 10 times and had 10 yards. He doesn't, that'd be 10 points just for catching the ball, when this guy didn't catch the ball once but had 100 yards. That's how he got 10, like the same.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, so it makes it a little more even with that. It's how I mostly played the leagues. Drafting, we'll lock down a date. I think I'm going to make a post tomorrow with a little more of the date details on what we can do with that. But so
Cool.
look out for
Yeah.
that on the KO Disc Golf, and I'll probably post the video as well on the Instagram page or on the YouTube page as well.
I'd love to
Um,
draft like really close to the start of the season because I hate when like you draft and then one of the guys you draft high up gets
yep.
injured and you're like, son of a bitch, like I wasted my number 4 or 5 draft pick on like this dude who's not going to play until like the last week or last couple of weeks kind of thing. So
Yeah, 100%. We're gonna make sure it's like one of the later days. I know. Yeah, it's probably gonna be because I think the first game's gonna be a Thursday night game if I'm not mistaken. So we'll probably try to do it. I know we'll either do it on a Sunday or a Monday. Probably one of those days that works.
okay, yeah, we can figure that out. Yeah,
Probably a
yeah,
weekend, but I'm not entirely sure yet. We'll talk a little more about that. But
yeah.
the ideas with that. Ooh, what is the swirly one?
These are going in the pool. These are going in the pool for the winner of the league. This is the new Cloudbreaker that's coming out. This is the Glow Ganon Bird Cloud.
Oh, all right, y'all. You're losing.
And this is Eagle's last Cloudbreaker with a sick, like, kind of cotton candy swirl. So these are just the two that I'm throwing in. I might throw in some more kind of as it goes, but winner of our fantasy football league is going to get at least these 2 discs, plus probably a bunch more. Because, yeah,
Yeah, I want to get it. I want to. If we are, I want to make sure we have like 10 people, and if we're able to get that, like, I want to make sure the winner gets something really cool. So I'm gonna throw in some discs and some cool stuff, some swag with it
and
as
I'm still going
well.
to win, though, because, like,
Oh yeah,
I got a little, like, pride on the line here. So,
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So there's a lot going with that. So look out for the post. I'll be coming out with the video, locking down the dates. The link to join the fantasy football, we're going to be doing it on the Sleeper app. If you have any questions on the Sleeper app, you can message me about it. But basically, I think it's the best way and the most like easiest user friendly like user interface. So basically, like, I think it's the best to use. There's a lot of like cool
nice.
pictures, a lot of easy, just like it's really easy. So if you have any questions with that, but the link to the Sleeper app for our fantasy league is in the Instagram, and I'll put it on the YouTube as well on a post tomorrow.
Cool.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, I'm really excited to kind of get into it. So when is the start of NFL season?
The first NFL game is gonna be down, down, down. I am not prepared for it.
No, that was a random question. I didn't expect you to know off the top. I don't know why I expect you.
Usually I do. Usually I do.
That would be crazy. Um,
Uh, uh, uh.
yeah, I don't know what it would be off the top of my head. Monday. I mean, I would be down. You said Monday for a draft. That sounds great, honestly. We could do it at ECD. We could do it kind of later at night.
Yes, September 5th, Thursday is the first game.
Okay, so we got like a week or so to kind of figure that out. So no
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. So I'm thinking, yeah, sometime this weekend, like a Monday or Sunday, come down to the shop, do that. Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, check out the Instagram, and then yeah, just click the link, and that's the invite. You just gotta join.
Sounds good. I love it. All right, moving on into our Mountain Championship preview or Mountain View Championship preview. Some people are saying that this is the biggest tournament of the year. I'm those people. I just played in the Worlds, and this event feels a lot bigger. I think it feels bigger mostly because I'm playing, or I have a lot bigger take in it. I have a lot bigger part in running the event and that kind of thing. But yeah, this event feels huge for me, for Emerald City Discs. This is the biggest event of the year that we're throwing and that kind of thing. We have 3 different countries represented, just an MPO. The United States, we have Canada, which is no surprise, and then we have a couple people from Japan playing the event, which is awesome. I know Ko pretty well. We played the Cascade Challenge. We chatted a bunch when we saw each other in Virginia, and then we actually flew on the same flight coming from Charlotte to Seattle. And he's going to go see, he said he's going to go see his parents over in Whidbey Island and then come over and start practicing for the tournament kind of thing. So, yeah, really like Ko. He's a really, really good guy.
To play with him, and he was one of the first MPOs I played with. When I in BC Open, we were on a card
Nice.
together. So I played with him. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
this is
No,
cool.
he's awesome for sure. He throws a lot of Discmania, definitely. He's coming out with his friend. I think his friend's name is like Hotaka. So the caddy book and the map were sent out a few days ago. I've been fielding some questions about it and that kind of thing. I feel very prepared, which is really nice. A lot of the questions that have been asked, have been pretty simple answers, or pretty like, hey, like this isn't the caddy book, or oh, it is, really easy clarifications and stuff like that, which has been really nice. So just happy that I've kind of like thought through a lot of it, which is great. Um, I'm going to go through the layout really quick, and just kind of like bust through it as fast as possible. So, hole one is going to start basically by like hole 17. It's going to be pushed back and left a little bit. Going to original 17 basket. Hole 18 is basically going to play as is, but with like an added hazard to kind of that dip in the middle. Um, Hole 3 is going to be like kind of the area by the house going towards 15's basket. I think that's a really nice, like, kind of chop forehand kind of shot, with something pretty overstable, like maybe a PD2 or something. For hole 4, it's going to be the kind of flat area behind 15's tee pad. I'm gonna go out there and put flags out tomorrow, so it's going to be easy to identify. But it's kind of like a little, like, either like chippy, like uphill forehand shot, like through the woods, or through like the tunnel of trees there. Or it's going to be maybe like a backhand turnover and maybe play it up the path, something like that. Hole 5 is going to be one of like the more difficult holes, I think, on the course. This is going to be like a true water carry. So from the tee pad to the basket, it's only like 345 feet, but the area that you have to go through is so challenging. And I did create a Mando going Mando right, on the far left pole there, because during the Long Lady tournament, people were just throwing like forehands out on the left and kind of pitching around the pond, and I want people to have to carry it. So, if you want to play it safe, you can just throw like a little chip shot up to like the tree in the middle, and then throw like another chip shot across the water, and that kind of thing. But if you want to go for it, it's not that far, but it is a tight gap, and you have to throw like a really, really nice, like, distance shot to kind of get out there, kind of thing. So
Yeah, I'm still unsure with what I want to do with that. I might be in the layup crowd, but I don't
yeah,
want to be.
I'm in the layup crowd, like, for sure. Like, if I think if I go into round 2 and I feel like I really need a stroke, maybe I go for it. But like, I just right now, I think I'm just gonna practice the layup. Unless I throw a bunch of like going for it shots in practice, like tomorrow and the day after, and every single one of them makes it over, and I feel like I'm making it no problem, which I don't foresee happening, because that gap is like pretty small. Because I want it to be a more difficult hole. Um,
Yeah.
Hole 6 is a double Mando. It's going to be like the old log hole if you played the log lady shot. I moved it back, and I made a double Mando just because I don't want people like throwing like turnover shots that hyzer out towards like hole 3's tee pad, and I don't want people trying to like go on the right side towards hole 5's basket kind of thing. Hole 7 is going to be the original 11 tee pad to 12 basket. I love this hole. This is one of my favorite ones. I think it's a great par 4. There's going to be an OB line on the left side, so you can't just like throw a hyzer to like oblivion and kind of make your way back around, that kind of thing. Hole 8 is going to be just the original hole 3. There is an added hazard to the bunker. I don't really think that's going to come into play, but there might be some like forehands that are kind of like sawed off short or nose down that maybe kind of like trickle their way in. So if it adds a stroke or two somewhere, that'll be nice. Hole 9 is the original hole 4 with the triple Mando. I had one of those thoughts where I'm like, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's plenty of people that go out there and still take bogeys, so there's just it felt like it was an unnecessary change.
Yeah.
Hole 10 is the original hole 5. I think that's a great hole. It's long. There are some people that kind of get caught up in the tree there and that kind of thing. So I think the power throwers will be rewarded with getting birdie opportunities. And if you just throw like 2 like smart, safe shots, you can get a par, no problem, kind of thing. Hole 11 is just regular hole 6. I don't really think there's anything wrong with hole 6. I think it's a nice hole. It is kind of difficult to get a throw like fully like into that little crevice there, and I think there's a little like local love and a little local course knowledge, because if you do kind of play it to the backside of that,
it's open.
Yeah, it's wide open. You get plenty of putts. So
yeah, that's why I always have gone forehand, and I'll go forehand skip, because I'm like, if I don't get the skip, then I'm just long and I have a putt. It's like 25, 30 feet.
Yeah, you almost want to like wrap in like behind it like that, for sure. Hole 12 is going to be another par 4 that I really like. Where the original like 7 tee pad is, you're going to kind of like move up and left. And it's going to be kind of like out towards like the bushy tree. There is a Mando that's left of like the big tall tree in the middle of the fairway out there. I think the best line there, honestly, is to throw a roller. Because if you get a roller like down on the right angle with one that's like understable enough, you can like wrap the tree and then you can push under that second tree line, and that
Mm,
second shot to like get your birdie or to get to, to really close to getting your birdie is it becomes so much easier when you don't have that other tree line.
yeah.
I feel like at the last tournament I was seeing people just like throwing backhand turnovers that would kind of like fade out, and now they still have like 325 350 feet with like a low ceiling to get to the basket, which is also guarded by that bushy tree.
Yeah.
So I think the sooner you can cut that Mando tree and kind of get the further right you can get, I think the better for that shot. Hole 13 is going to be the basket is going to be on the elevated area. There's going to be OB behind it. This is going to be a basket we're going to bring in. The tee pad is going to be to the right of hole 12's basket. Kind of like I think like a roller will be okay there. I think there's also going to be plenty of people that can just throw like an air shot that's like low ceiling, like through those woods, and at least get to like the bricks and get themselves maybe like a 20-25 footer to kind of like uphill into the thing.
Okay.
So that won't be too bad. Hole 14 is a very straight shot. It's kind of like from the path, like behind hole 13's basket, and is going to the original 7 basket. There is going to be like an OB on the left side of the tree line. So if you're just throwing like an overstable like disc that skips, you might find yourself out of bounds. I think the better shot there is to throw like a straighter putter or like a straighter mid range, like an MD1 or maybe like a Logic or something like that, and kind of
Okay.
have it like drifting in like really softly instead of something that's gonna like kind of skip in. So I
Heard.
think that left to right movement is definitely like a lot safer of a throw. Hole 15 is going to be where the original AT pad is. It's basically just moved left. What I really like about this shot is it doesn't. It's not so much as like a straight to hyzer, so much as it's almost like a direct like hook, and you're trying to make a really hard like left kind of turn up there. Um, I think the play for that one is actually to go high
I was
and
about to say, is that a
crash into
high?
the tree
Yeah.
and just let it fall and kind of be on
Yeah.
that side. So I think if you can just get the distance right and crash into the trees, you should be totally fine.
Yeah.
Because that skip shot low is so hard to skip it around where that, because I still left that Mando there. So it's basically OB the entire left side until you get to the Mando.
You're
So
basically
getting it to,
hyzering that tree, the Mando tree. Yeah.
oh yeah, getting it to skip is so hard. So I think that's the play. Hole 16 is going to be original hole 9, with the bunker behind it being hazard. I think hole 9 is a great hole. Hole 17 is going to be original 10 tee pad going to 1 basket. And there's going to be a Mando tree, which is going to be Mando left. So you got to kind of throw like the turnover or the forehand. And then hole 18 is going to be hole 2, with OB on the right side. So I love hole 2. I think it's the signature hole of that course, the signature basket of that course. When people talk about South Fork Landing, that's usually the basket that they talk about. So
Yeah.
I think that as a finishing hole will be absolutely great. I think it'll kind of push a few people to run a putt that they wouldn't normally run. So I know usually if I'm like 40-45 feet out of that basket, I'm probably just laying a putt up like right in front of the tree and then tapping in for par, and I feel pretty good about that. But game on the line, now I'm running a 45 footer up
Yeah.
there. Yeah,
Death
like that's
putt.
exciting. So
Anything could happen. Yeah. Rollaways. Go straight
totally.
past. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even the person who's in the lead, could like very well just try to lay it up, hit the bat, hit the stump or hit the tree, and then roll, another 25 feet away, and they have to make a decision about whether to run that putt or not, kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited for this weekend though. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Sweet.
All right, kind of moving on real quick because we are getting very long here.
Yep. Yep.
We're gonna do the PAX. We're gonna save the PAX Cup preview until next week, actually.
Cool.
So coming next week is a PAX Cup preview. Actually, I say we just kind of skip the draft and we do that next week too, because we are at probably like an hour or so now.
Right around. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll just do the draft
All right.
next week too.
So we'll have the K draft. Hopefully a better quality K draft. But I was ready to whoop some butt there.
Yeah,
Uh,
I have some
yeah.
real killers.
to end, I got no one better than Deion Sanders primetime quote, and it says, "Let me tell you something. If you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. If you play good, you get paid good. And if you get paid good, you eat good." Deion Sanders primetime. Thank you guys for watching episode 21 of the KO Disc Golf Show. Don't forget to aim high and shoot low. We'll see you next week.
See you guys. World Hat. Let's go.